Destroy your hourly flipper. My mind is blown. All of these are comic books from another, I guess, major gift to our Goodwill. I'm going to go through and tell you which ones of these are keepers and not. This is pretty incredible. Okay, there's holes. Oh, I missed that one. Oh, I missed that one and that one. Let me put these over here. I have loads of ones to go through. Stacks upon stacks of ones that gave me good vibes. I think we have maybe 200 books to go through. The Goldfinch, the graphic novel, I didn't know that existed. The next thing you will see are the ones that I'm going to keep from all of these books. Okay, there you go. So this is no joke. This was the first book that I picked up. All right, so very interesting. And it's just a little paperback. I expected it not to be anything, but there's the barcode. I scanned it, and here it is. That's a keeper. Woo! Okay, going through these books, and I just came across this. Isn't that awesome? Like, some of them are $190. The lowest is $34. But look at the price again, $1.59. After much effort, here is the stack of keepers, ranging from 160 to 30. Nothing here is below 30. So that's pretty exciting. I'm going to get home and I'll show you everything that I got. Okay. I've got the books in the back, and I just had a second to sit down and wanted to share that I've been there about 90 minutes. All right. And so it'll take about that long to list all of these. So 3 hours. But I think it's a pretty good hit that I just got. I'll show you when I get to the my office at home, and show you everything that I got. I'm very excited about showing you. I did get a couple of things at the very end as I was walking towards the counter, and I'm even happy with those. So it's one of those things of you never know, and I was just there at the right time this time. Most of those were $1.59, and I spent $64 there. All right, so that is the second highest amount that I've spent at Goodwill on books. The last one being a comic book haul that I got before, and there's a previous video. Feel free to look that one up as well. But these are pretty awesome. All right, see you soon back home. I'm back. Here is Empire Strikes Back, the notebook, not the sketchbook. It is just as interesting, but you'll see it's more text, okay? This one, for some reason, is not as valuable as the sketchbook, but again, definitely worth picking up. Moving right along, writing and illustrating the graphic novel. And this is how to do the art. Like I mentioned before, thick book, new. This is a valuable book, and by value, 20 to 30 bucks. There we go, $1.59. This is the cheapest book that I bought, and I bought it because the cover looks so cool. It's connected to the drawing again, the person that made Dinotopia, that book, $1.59, and it has, how to make interesting, imaginative world building. All right. That one in itself is probably around $12. Still worth the get because I paid $1.59, but the least valuable book that I purchased. We're back to super awesome. Okay. Return of the Jedi sketchbook. Okay. You'll see things from there, and look in what good condition this is. That's awesome. I can remember seeing this in the main big screen at Showcase Cinemas, like in 78, before there was IMAX. It was like big 78 theater, and it was pretty awesome. But here we go. The Star Wars original sketchbook. Original, no barcode. And that's what started it all. All right. Amazing. This does have someone signed the front, and they are from San Jose, California. Let me look at the production, tell you when it actually was printed. 1977. The good news is I have it. The bad news is what you can see is it's in, of the three, the least awesome condition, but still gold, I tell you. Also, with all of these items was a Bible. This one is the Life Application Bible. I picked this up. It perked my interest because of the silver leafing at the end. Paid $1.59 for this. It is not signed in the front. That's something always to check. And happy to sell those all day long. Here is my second to least used or valuable book. It's Stumptown. It is a graphic novel. There were two other Stumptown books there, and those weren't worth my time. This one is, but it is just around $15, okay? But $1.59 to $15, that's a good ratio. Three other books in this pile, just to show you how to use watercolors. That is valuable and teaches technique. Paid $1.59 for it. Here is how to use colored pencils for incredible, lifelike, detailed artwork. $1.59. The price on it on the back, when they bought it, $25.99, and it'll at least be that now. The last book in this pile, framed art. So how to get your ink work recognized further. So it is like a showcase of, in the indie comic realm, those that use black and white for their piece, all right, for their medium. And that's awesome, okay? That's stack number one. Let me share another tip. It is get cart. I recommend, whether you plan on buying a lot or a little, when you go into your store, grab a cart to push it around. I like to, over in the book section, find a flat space to put books that just when I see them that I want to check out the value of them. Having a cart is the best way, reliable way I have found to have a flat space to put them in. All right, does that make sense? And also, when you find a stack like this, you don't need to leave the stack to go get a cart to move it to the front. You have your cart there already. When I get to another idea, recommendation, this one will make more sense, but I want you to get a cart each and every time. Let's look at this second pile. There's some mixed media, and I want to show you that. It's a VHS. Usually you drop in and get, you look for 80s horror. This is called Class of 1984. It's not horror, but I'm going to tell you some names that are in it. Okay, Roddy McDowall, you may know him. Michael J. Fox, in a Van Patten. Okay, Timothy Van Patten. These are big name stars, and this is some of their first appearance. So if you ever see Class of 1984, pick that up for sale. The day before that, on Friday, I found a stack of K-pop music. So this is one of those groups. Let's see what the name of this one is, because really the name does not matter. And since the name doesn't matter, I am not going to say it. But this is an example of a K-pop album that I paid $1.59 for. This is the book, but also there's stickers in it and postcards, all connected to, this amazing K-pop band. The CD is there. That's in pristine shape. That's something that's going to sell as well. This in the usually in collections of comics, there's also maybe some more unique, interesting reads. This is called Genuine Mediumship. And let me go and tell you the copyright date, 1919. Okay? It is an amazing shape. There's some spots on the back, but the pages themselves are pretty amazing. Here's a picture, Coda color print of someone. They hadn't pulled that out, but this was a good find to a 1919 book. We're still going down the mixed media front. I don't know if this is going to come through on the picture, but it is 6-week body makeover. It is a notebook that has how to have a 6-week body makeover. Look that up, what just the notebook is. I paid $1.59. Okay, so some of these are particularly good, even though it's not a complete set. I know that there's lots more things with it. I think it had a resistance band, things like that. Here's more. Ballpoint art pack. There is a sketch pad, unused, and then a booklet on how to do it. And it's a notebook of how to use it. The price was $20 as of, purchase. On eBay, it sells for more than that, and I found that for $1.59. All right, I'm going to show you one more thing. Yosel. This in itself isn't that interesting, that name Yosel, but Joe Kubert is a seminal comic book artist. There's a Joe Kubert Awards. There's an institute, that kind of thing. He was along with like Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, maybe even preceding them a little bit, doing the comic stuff for not just pulp, get it out and sell it, but to have drawing as a medium. Okay. Tip number 3, be friendly. What do I mean by that? When I looked, and you just saw this a second ago, I had 5 stacks of books that I went through. It took me, as I said, 90 minutes to sort through all of those books. I was there for a little while. It could have been frustrating for the workers that were there, and I always moved myself out of the way, apologized for taking so much space. I could have added to their stress and added to their frustration. I don't want to do that. I was friendly to them while I was there. When I'm there often, I particularly say things like, I'm going to take some of these books home with me, and the book person says, hey, this is great, that kind of thing. It is not to get special access or special pricing or special anything. It is that if I'm there too long, 90 minutes is a long time really to be there. They're going to give me grace because they know that I'm a friendly customer that comes in. All right. If you're the cranky old man that comes in, they're not going to have as much grace. Okay. And when I go in, I treat it as work, and I'm trying to be courteous. I'm trying to be kind. I want to focus on what I'm there to focus on. And it's just to be friendly along the way. Also, other people that are there, if you're there so frequently that you kind of know the store and know what's there, and someone's there looking for something particular and they strike up a conversation, you can help them out, and karma is good. All right, let's jump right on. This was a graphic novel that I was happy to find. It's Batman. You may have heard it. It was The Long Halloween. And that collection, this is an example of a collection of the smaller comic books put into a graphic novel form. That's a good story. This may go onto my bookshelf, but I'm most likely going to sell it. All right. Here's a recommendation for a podcast, okay? Go and listen to Hardcore History. It is an awesome historical podcast, and the guy that does it, he references this guy called Will Durant, who is just a fan of history, all right? He wrote this book, The Age of Faith, and it is very girthy. Let's look at the date of 1950. But he was a historian of that time. This is a valuable book because of him writing it, being 1950. And he has a resurgence, not just because of the podcast, but his swearing, Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. All right. So that is awesome. Here is another Star Wars, a collection of the alien species, but it is not as valuable as those sketchbooks. We're almost done. 3 more books to go. The Arca-Sketcher, about how to draw architecture. Interesting book. Paid $1.59. Originally it was $24.99. And here is a coffee table book. $47.95. It was the original price. It was $1.59. Principles of Creature Design. Isn't that interesting? So this person could have been an artist. And then, so that's principles. And here is the science of creature design. Another $44.95 book. And these are in really good condition. And I'm going to sell them. And it's going to be a great day. All right. Last tip, and then I'm going to wrap up. All right. Thank you for staying with me. If you've been here thus far and you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. Also, click the like button. That really does help, and it gets more eyes on this video. And I think this is some good stuff. I'm reiterating the tip. If you see lots of comics or comic-inspired things, look for the comic-adjacent things, such as the painting, drawing, and other fan kind of books that are there, particularly the thicker ones. I encourage you to, when you go to your Goodwill, establish a routine. Here's what I do. I come in right by the door are the glass shelves. I look in them. I usually don't find anything there. They're either looked at, priced accordingly for what it is, not undervalued. And it's neat to see the things that are there, but I rarely purchase those. I can think of 2 times that I've purchased those. I go get a cart. I go through the clothing areas, bypassing that, and I look at the games. There are games over a row of clothing. I look on the right side to see if there's any unique, old, or interesting games that are there. Sometimes I find them and have to scan them. Like today, there were 3 that I've never seen before, and they were a set, but they were not a value that was worth my time. I have found several games, though, as I go down. I go through the little aisle with the mixed home goods. What I'm particularly looking for there are the Texas Instruments calculators. Often they're put there, not in the electronic section, because they're viewed as schoolwork. Okay, so look for those there. And then I go to the books. I start at the top of the book section, scanning the shelves, looking for interesting spines, things that I mentioned before, local history, anything that does catch my eye. And I don't immediately look them up from that shelf. I put them into my cart. All right. Flat space. So at the end of looking at everything of what's interesting, I've got the things in my cart that I then look up. If they have a barcode, it's super easy to go through. I put the books back that I don't buy. And then I've got, the things that I do. I then, after I've done all of that, I do another quick scan. That's to just see if there's anything that I've missed. And frequently I do miss items of value that I actually do purchase. So I recommend that go back, look again. All right. I then, from the book section, go back looking at the electronics and the toys. They're on the same wall as the books. In the electronics section, I've said this before, but I'm looking for medical devices that are mislabeled as simply electronics. There's lots of light therapy things that are viewed as just lamps. And there's items that are hundreds of dollars for that, either for pain or whatever treatment. Always look for those. And then also I look for computer parts that aren't that are undervalued. All right. When I go to the toys, I look for, well, let me show you. Okay. In the toy section on this same trip with all of these books, there was this. Okay. It was priced for $2.99, and it is a helmet for karate practice. It looks brand new, and I'm confident that I'm going to get more than $2.99 for this. All right. When I'm in the toy section, I'm looking for two things. First, original Jurassic Park dinosaurs. You've seen this on the channel before. And also Transformers. And this was sitting on a shelf. I would have looked by it completely, except I saw let me show you exactly what got me interested. See that little symbol? Usually on knockoffs, there aren't that attention to detail. And so I picked it up. I found the head of it, and there's actually a name of this character here that helps me search it. And it is Depth Charge. This is a 1999 Beast Wars Transformer, and there were only two of them on eBay. This is like a $40 thing. I paid $2.99 for it, and that was after going through all of those books. So I checked that out. That adds maybe another 30 seconds to my trip, but I can count 3 separate times that I've picked up some pretty awesome Transformers from there. I then go back towards the cash register, on the other side of the games to see if there's anything there. Sometimes you can't see the good games from the other side, and then I check out. The K-pop purchase that I told you about before, that was the most that I've spent at a Goodwill visit. That was $136. And I've got this equivalent stack of K-pop albums. I'm a middle-aged man buying K-pop stuff. And then this was a $64 purchase. And how much am I going to make from this, you may ask? All right. There's a Post-it for that. Here we go. There were 32 items that I just showed you. Okay. And they were all good. I believe that the average for all of those books is at least going to be $20. Some of those books, the reason I can confidently say that when I've told you that some of the books were $12 to $15 is because some of them are north of $100, and 2 of them I saw at $170. Okay. So I'm going to do quite fine. So assuming that it is $20 per book for 32, that's $640 for one trip to Goodwill. I told you that I spent 90 minutes to pick these out. It is going to be about another 90 minutes to list them. All right. I take pictures. A lot of them had barcodes, as you could see. That's going to push it in. If you want me to do a video of how easily I list them, just let me know. And if I do that, that's 3 hours. It'll take 2 more hours to ship them and send them on their way. That is a total of 5 hours, $640 by 5 hours. I'm making $128 an hour to get these sold. And that is, again, a minimum. That's pretty awesome. Something great to do for a Sunday afternoon. I hope you enjoyed this and you saw some titles that you may keep your eye out for. Swoosh for instance, or was it whoosh? Whoosh. There you go. So if you would like, subscribe, tell your friends about this. I thank you so much for your time.